Okay, so a round of applause for the filmmakers. All right. Okay, so these are clearly two very, very different types of documentaries, right? So let's begin with Chinatown. Let's talk a little bit about how the project came about.
Awesome, yeah. It came about very simple. It started with a New York Times article that I read about during the pandemic times in 2020. So I read about the resiliency of the Chinatown community and different boroughs in New York, the communities in different places, how they're very resilient. So I saw this organization being mentioned. It's called Welcome to Chinatown. So they basically donated a lot of money to small businesses for emergency funding and supported them using different activities to light up the Chinatown community to make it better. So a group of young people. That's how it started. So I reached out to that group and reached out. I went to Chinatown a few times to experience it myself a little bit more because I wasn't really from there at all. So I need to do a little bit of research to find out the real situation and to feel the resiliency and to feel the passing down traditions. And through doing the interview process during the film, we were actually invited to have lunch with them after the interview. One of the families called us over, and they cooked us a big meal after the interview. So that really touched me. Although they've been through hardships, their store, as shown in the film, was burned, but that really warmed our heart. And yeah, being Asian American at this time, it kind of feels like I found where I belong. And yeah, do you have anything to add, Ria, about that?
I think it was very important in the beginning because we didn't ever grow up in Chinatown. We spent months just being there and getting to know everybody. And as we were working up our interview questions, we wanted to make sure that we're telling a genuine and authentic story and something that that can reach people.
And how did you choose the? Oh, before I ask my second question, if you can just introduce yourselves, so we didn't get your names.
Yes, my name is Tony. So I'm the director for the documentary.
My name is Ria. I mostly did sound for the interviews.
Cool. And so what I wanted to ask you was regarding the subjects. How did you choose who you wanted to interview? How did you choose who were going to be the subjects of the film?
So that process was, I was initially trying to find restaurants and different subjects to do the film. I think Welcome to Chinatown, the organization, helped us a lot about securing certain businesses that are very unique to the Chinatown community. And they have a long-standing history in the community. By being there 30 years ago, the grandparents worked there, and now the offspring. One of the shops, they even sent their kids to NYU, and they came from just starting the shop and achieving their whole American dream experience. So we chose the subjects based on their history and based on so basically how they fit in the Chinatown community. And it's very specialty shops that we're thinking of.
Okay, so for our feature documentary, we have David Seth Cohen. Welcome. And if you could just introduce yourself as
Vinny Strinkowski.
Vinny Strinkowski.
Sorry, Vinny Strinkowski.
All right, from
Producer, talent.
All right, so David, this is what a commitment. I mean, film is years in the making. This whole process was years. I mean, this is dedication. So it all begins with this opportunity to have a drink with Adam Sandler. And what made you decide to want to make a film out of it? How did this come about?
Well, first, I just want to say thank you to everybody that came, and I really liked your film. I love Chinatown. I go there all the time I love soup dumplings are like my favorite, so I've been going there since I'm a kid. The film kind of came about from that dream that I had. I had a real life situation with a major star, and when I had the dream, it was kind of just like, if I don't make a film now, when am I gonna ever make a film? This is a concept. There's like a legit star involved, whether he does it or not, because TMZ gets celebrities on the street all the time. So like, the dream happened, and I was like, let's see if I can round up some people. after the dream, I kind of woke up, immediately called Dan. It was like 5 something in the morning. He was sleeping, and I was like, "Hey, Dan, I just had this dream that I went to California to try and find Adam Sandler and have a drink, and I want to make a movie." He's like, "Can I call you back later? It's like 5 a.m." I went into work. I was a producer at Telecare, the Catholic TV station at the time, and Vinny was an associate producer on my show. I was the executive producer, and Vinny worked with me. And I came in all fired up and immediately went over to Vin, and I was like, "Vin, I just had this dream, and I want to make this movie." And
I mean, it was an experience. I mean, you see it here on the stage, you see it in the movie. Dave is tenacious, he's positive, and you just want to ride his energy train. I mean, it's just there's not a negative aspect to any of this. Even though people like me, I was constantly, and you won't see it in the movie, but there were times where we were down. I mean, you saw a little bit of it with him, but just knowing that you attach yourself to a person of Dave's talent and creativity and energy, there's going to be an outcome. There's going to be a journey, there's going to be an adventure, and that's why all those folks in the movie, we got on board because we knew this was going somewhere. We had higher hopes, obviously, but we knew that, life, that's what life is. Life is the journey. So, and getting on board with Dave, that didn't take any hesitation from any of us.
he's being really nice right now. He just wants to work on the next movie I might be making, if it ever happens. So yeah, no, I'm just kidding.
It's noted there that Sandler knew about the film. He knew you were making this movie.
Yeah, so when we went to Manchester, New Hampshire, we had to cut a lot of stuff out of the movie, obviously. I mean, it's already really long, but when we went there, we were at that Puritan back room where I met the lady Jane that connected me to Mr. T. And at the same time, they got me on the phone with, like, Adam's prom date, who he happened to, like, still be in contact with. And they were friends, so I have a feeling that she actually called Adam to tell him about it. And then the manager, when he actually, it was like New Year's Day, 2007, I was visiting my sister in Florida, that scene where she's like, just call Adam Sandler. Like, my family seemed to think that it was so easy to just get in contact with Adam Sandler. Yeah, it was just, the whole thing was just crazy, and yeah, it was a long journey.
Does anybody have any questions for any of the filmmakers? Anyone want to raise their hand? Anyone at all? Yes, go ahead.
I have a question. I just want to say how inspiring the movie was. I think the whole thing about Sandler himself, that is just kind of a stand-in for all the things in our lives that we ended up sort of the sunken cost, spending years and years longer than we thought we would. And at the end, just I think the dedication and the refusal, the tenacity, and this kind of puts up a mirror to the audience, like, are we doing enough in our lives to follow in your footsteps? You're here.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, definitely very inspirational. Yeah, thank you.
That's one thing we always believed in, is that whether you have a connection to Adam Sandler, or it doesn't even have to be a celebrity. We've all been there. We've all made decisions that we wish we could have gone back and changed. We've all had interactions with people that we wish we could have done differently, and that's really the message. The message goes beyond the content. It goes. I mean, almost everybody is touched in their lives by situations like this, and that's really the message we want to get out there. Is, I mean, especially these days, follow your dreams, surround yourself with people who care about you and build you up, not take you down, and you can achieve limitless things if you just follow your dreams and stay positive and tenacious. That's my favorite word for Dave, tenacious.
I think there was another. All right, go ahead. Yes.
I just want to comment on just the overall quality of the production, the sound, the filming, the lighting, the animation. If I were Sandler, I'd want to see it just for that alone.
Thank you. Yeah, we haven't reached out to his team in a long time. They've actually never seen the film in this version. When we sent it to them, it was like, ages ago, and it wasn't the same kind of film. This has been a long journey. It got held up for like 6 years. The whole thing with Jeff that was kind of lightly mentioned. And thanks, Jay Brown over there, that guy Jay. He was the attorney that helped us with the arbitration that we had, so thank you, Jay. But yeah, it's been a long journey, and a lot of hard work went into it, not just from my end, but everyone that worked on the movie. I would say 95% of the people all worked for free, including the animator. It took him over a year to do all those animations, and he still wants to work on another project with me, believe it or not. Yeah.
Yeah, animation was great. It was really good. Let me take. Yeah, go ahead.
Both films were amazing. Yours is just as inspirational.
Thank you.
I gotta ask David, is it still in your heart to find them?
Is it still in your heart to find Sandler?
No, if his people saw the movie and came to me and said, "Hey, we'll do the drink," I would shoot the ending over again. Absolutely, it would touch black where it's like it didn't happen, and then it would come back up. And guess what? But I'm not pursuing it anymore. It's the movie's done. Truth is, the last time I went, he was pushing me. He's like, one more time. You don't see it on, and then we cut it out to speed it up. But I was kind of done, I would say, after that first time where I actually gave him that painting that Steve Kaufman gave me, and I never got it back. So he's got that painting somewhere. And I was done after that. But with a little push, you just got to push me a little bit, and then I kind of was like, all right, I'll do it one more time, and then you saw how it ended. But yeah, no, I'm done. I would do something similar, like to help other people potentially follow their dreams. If somebody had a budget and wanted to pay me a good amount of money to go around and do it. But beyond that, it's funny. I was never considered myself a documentary filmmaker. I've always wanted to do narratives and stuff like that. So I'll call it quits on that one.
All right. Yes, go ahead.
I also think that both documentaries were great. I have a question for Tony. Tony, I don't know if you remember me. I'm that guy that said, who do we run for? Yeah, Midnight Madness. You were out there at midnight. We were with your three Masons.
Yeah, thank you guys for coming. That's incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought your doc was great. I love how you showcase Chinatown and how vibrant it is. Two questions. Number one, how did you come up with the name of the doc? And then two, is there a sequel?
Okay, how'd you come up with the title, and is there a sequel?
Okay, first question. I gotta thank the producer of the film, Miranda, right here. She's brilliant. Definitely helped in the brainstorming process a lot. And it was really hard to find a name for this because we came across a few names like Chinatown Forever, different names like this kind of type. But we stumbled upon Our Only Home because it's quoted by Vic from Welcome to Chinatown. Subjects in the film talked about Chinatown, Our Only Home, and very quickly actually. It's not something that caught our attention at first, but really sipping through the thoughts, thinking about, this actually makes a really good title for the film. So it took a little bit of luck and, of course, help from Miranda. It's cool. And second question is about sequel, right? So the film shows, I think, this is the only kind of film of its type right now because it presents a story from 2020 to 2022 and shows a kind of a recovery process and the resiliency of the community and the passing down of traditions between families. It's kind of an overview of the Chinatown at the time, but not a very in-depth story. So I think it serves its purpose, but in future documentaries, I'm definitely trying to focus more on issues in Chinatown right now. And so as the film stands on its own at this point. Thank you. Yeah.
All right, let's get one last question. I think somebody had their hand up over, was it here? Okay, go ahead.
Both documentaries were awesome. I'm so glad I got invited. But my question is for David. So the way you portrayed Adam towards the end, I really appreciate that you gave the
anger or any frustration towards Adam Sandler?
I wouldn't call it any anger. I mean, look, the guy's worth $500 million. Let's be honest, right? So realistically, you know, the management team, when they called Jeff and told him the deal, they were like, hey, look, if Adam was an up-and-coming star, we'd have him do this right away. But Adam's a superstar. He doesn't need it. You know, what's in it for Adam? And, you know, at the end of the day, like, realistically, you know, I kind of understand their point of view on it. You know, I'm not going to go boycott him or anything like that. You know, I still watch his films. I was upset at the fact that he didn't actually watch the movie like he said to me face to face. You know, if I tell somebody I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. But, you know, look, like I said, you're worth $500 million. You don't need to help anybody out if you don't want to. And we weren't paying him $10 million to come in to be in our movie. And that's the realistic truth of Hollywood. I mean, you know, it's called show business for a reason, right? Show business. And truth be told, like a lot of people, like the guy John Lochran and the lady Ellen, you know, they didn't meet with us because Adam's their bread and butter. I mean, he funds their lives, and they don't want to take a chance at ruining a relationship with someone like that, you know? So at the end of the day, like, am I pissed at him? No, I mean, like, you know, does it bother me that he didn't watch the movie? Yes. But do I kind of have an understanding of why it didn't happen? It's Hollywood, and it just doesn't always work out, and that's part of life, so, yeah.
All right, in just the last minute we have, just real quick, I'd just like to ask the filmmakers at the end, Tony, like, what's the sort of main message you want the audiences to walk away with after having seen the film?
So the main message is definitely showing the resiliency of the Chinatown community and asking people to come to Chinatown to see and explore for what it is. I think it's an important message now because of pandemic times, the business really slowed down, and it's such a warm community to be in by just us going in and conducting those interviews and getting to know the people in Chinatown. It's really worth going. So the main message is to show the resiliency and to show that Chinatown is a passionate place that people should visit more. And there's so much specialty. So it's very special that you can't get it from anywhere else.
Great. Yeah. And David, for you as well, and I know you touched upon it a bit, like what's sort of the overall message that you want audiences, the lesson, let's say, after you've seen the film?
I think the lesson of this movie is just follow your dreams and don't give up until, you know, you're going to be called a stalker. No. Don't give up until you know, make them come true. At the end of the day, like, you know, my goal for this whole thing was to make a movie, right? And I set out to do it, and regardless of whether it turned out my way or not, I made the movie. It took 15 plus years, but I did that. So the message is follow your dreams and just, you know, keep going until they come true, and just keep knocking on doors. And then the other big message is if opportunity knocks and someone asks you to have a drink with them, like a big celebrity like Adam Sandler, say yes. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Congratulations to the filmmakers, and thank you all for being here. Thank you. All right.
Thank you.
All right. Congrats.